There's a lot to unpack there, and I think this story has been kicking around George Lucas's head for a while from what I've researched and read, to the point where he always thought he could make a prequel trilogy for the original 3 Star Wars movies that he had made, because there was always the option to look into where the characters he created had come from, in terms of especially Anakin Skywalker, which we see in this movie particularly. But I feel like he didn't have the technology at the time to pull this off, because this movie really stretched the boundaries on what films could do, to the point where I think George Lucas was actually a front runner, and this is a movie that would fail forward. So he would make it in this technologically advanced age, whether it succeeded or not. But either way, it would move the cinema experience forward in terms of technological filmmaking, because this movie alone has 1,900 visual effects shots, which is more than triple of what the original Star Wars had in 1977, with only 360 shots. So Industrial Light and Magic really pulled their weight on this one, Brash, for the visual effects.
Like, there was a lot of CGI, but it wasn't so much like people and things. They still used a lot of practical effects. A lot of their explosions and sets and sceneries were all practical. Like, I think the biggest CG things were like Coruscant and like the visuals of Coruscant, some of the visuals of Naboo, and the most CGI character was probably Watto.
Yeah, exactly. And also Jar Jar Binks as well, who's been credited as being one of the very first fully rendered digital characters ever made, played by Ahmed Best, to a mixed reception, we'll say, from audiences. I feel like whether you like or hate Jar Jar, the technological achievement of putting him on screen is still one that is worth watching and noting when you're looking at this movie. But in terms of what you were saying with the visual effects, this kind of works as like the gateway drug or the transitional movie between old Hollywood and new Hollywood, because the movie that comes straight after this, Attack of the Clones, that was when George Lucas fully moved into a digital movies being digitally filmed and digitally made. And Attack of the Clones is known to be the movie that one of the first movies that was fully digitally created. So this movie sort of come off the back of that digital revolution, and they had to come up with some really unique ways to combine sound design, especially in the podrace scene, and also some visual effects in order to pull it off. And as you said as well, I think some of these really do carry weight today. There are some that you look at, especially in terms of force effects or renderings of large battlefields, that I look at and say that's probably aged a little bit. Yep.
The Naboo battle, that one, like at one point, like it saw like a backscale of Naboo, and like the grass just looked like flat green.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then it got cut to like the Gungans, and then you could actually see like normal grass and like blades of grass.
Or they've superimposed droids and Gungans onto the Windows XP background desktop that everybody knows, the rolling green hills. But one thing they also did in this movie was and something that they carried on to a lot of the prequel Star Wars movies, which I absolutely love, was the choreographed lightsaber duels. They definitely stepped it up in the prequel series, especially with the Duel of the Fates, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the podcast as well. But just the performances from Ewan McGregor and Ray Park, who play Obi-Wan Kenobi and also Darth Maul, flawless, and only improved as they got to Revenge of the Sith, where Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen playing Obi-Wan and Anakin pulled off probably the best lightsaber duel in Star Wars history, in my opinion. But it all started here in The Phantom Menace.
Yeah, no, 100%. That was peak, I think, especially in 1999.
Absolutely. 100%. And also to the point where me watching it as a 9-year-old boy in the cinema and seeing Darth Maul's lightsaber ignite on both sides, like, I didn't even think it was possible. But, they came and they gave us something fresh in that sort of aspect as well. But if we talk about what this movie offered us, and in terms of what George Lucas actually created, he actually had to do quite a little bit, because we knew where the story was going and where it ended, but setting up a whole world, a whole galaxy, a whole political system, a whole Jedi order that had to live and breathe and instigate the fall of Anakin Skywalker. He had to create all these systems that all these characters could walk in.